Good day, grade 6. So our topic for English for this week is about informational or factual text. So what do we mean by informational or factual text? So when we say informational and factual text, these are materials that provide significant information or details about a particular person, place, thing, event, or issue. So from the root, the key word, the very important word here is information. So what we mean by information sa Tagalog ay impormasyon. So that is the important part. Information or factual text, ibibigay ng informasyon sa Tagalog, or it gives information. And factual, from the root word fact, if you remember from our first quarter, kung naalala nyo pa mula sa first quarter, when we say fact, it means non-fiction or real, or in Tagalog, totoong nangyayari. So for informational text, we have 5 types of informational or factual text. So what are those 5? So first we have sequence, description, cause and effect, comparison and contrast, and problem and solution. So let's go to the first type of informational text. So the first type we have is sequence. So when we say sequence, in Tagalog, this means pagkakasunod-sunod. So from that meaning, we can infer that when we say sequential or sequence text, it means it has something to do with time or may kinalaman sa oras. Let us look at the signal words. First, then, finally, now, second, before, following, soon, next, after, long after. So, if you notice, kung mapapansin nyo, lahat ng signal word is may kinalaman sa or it involves, okay, very good, it involves time. So, let's look at the picture examples. So, the picture there is an example of how to make a sandwich. And, sabi nga dyan, our tips is the event taking place over time? Or, meron bang pagkakasunod-sunod? Meron bang oras na sinusunod? So let us look at a text, an example of a sequential text. So for here we have a text about salted eggs. Now let us look. Let us all read the paragraph. In order to make salted eggs, first you must place the salt and water in a medium saucepan and bring to a boil, and cook until the salt dissolves. Second, place each egg in a glass jar big enough to harbor 12 eggs. When the brine solution has cooled down, gently pour it into the jar. The eggs will float. Finally, at the end of 30 days, take one egg out and you can boil it and give it a try to see if it's salty enough. Now, let us look at all the clue words. So our first clue word is first, second, and finally. And if you read the entire paragraph, what is it about? It is about how to make salted eggs. So to make salted eggs, there is a step by step. For example, what's the first step? You must place the salt in water. And then what's the next step? Second, place each egg in a glass. And what is the third and final step? Finally, at the end of 30 days. So from these clue words, and kung naintindihan nyo yung sinasabi, so sa Tagalog, pinapaliwanag lang nito kung paano magawa ng salted eggs. We can tell that this is an example of a sequence text. Why? Kasi sa Tagalog may pagkakasunod-sunod and the clue words involve time. That's important. Pag sinabi nating sequence, may kinalaman sa time. Again, sequence, it involves time or steps. Okay, next kind is description. So, as it is written there, description from the root word describe. Now, what does describe mean? For example, describe your notebook. Describe your module. So, describe in Tagalog mean ipaliwanag. Ipaliwanag mo. Let us look at the picture example. Let's read the description first. The description of the description text. A topic, idea, person, or thing is described by listing its features, characteristics, or examples. So, yun na nga. So, pag sinabi natin describe, pinapaliwanag. For example, sinabi ko, describe your notebook. How would you describe your notebook? What does it sound like? What does it look like? What are some examples of other notebooks? What does your notebook smell like? What does your notebook feel like? And what does your notebook taste like? So some signal words, may nasa module nyo rin yan. For example, for instance, in particular, in addition, and some other words nakalagay na nga sa module nyo. So what should you ask yourself? Anong dapat tanong mo kung description ba to? So description, what specific person, place, thing, or idea is being described. So yun na nga, napaliwanag ko na. When we say description, it is about something that is being described. Pinapaliwanag. Now, let's look at an example of a text that is about description. Okay, the government is very keen on implementing the modern jeepney in the Philippines. These new jeepneys include an electric engine, CCTV cameras, and emergency exits. Some other characteristics of these new vehicles include the ability to give its passengers free Wi-Fi and card readers, which provides new options. For instance, passengers can use their virtual wallets to pay instead of using real cash. In addition to these, modern jeepneys would also be classified into 4 classes. So this is an example of a description text. Now, what is the text describing? Or ano yung pinapaliwanag ng text? Okay, it describes modern jeepneys. Now let us look at some of the clue words. So clue word, for example, characteristics, for instance, and in addition. So pag nakita niyo yan, that is what kind of text? It is an example of a description text. Ulit, description from the root word describe. Sa Tagalog ay ipaliwanag. So again, in this text, what is being described? Okay, dinidescribe o pinapaliwanag niya ang modern jeepney. It describes modern jeepney. Next kind is cause and effect. So what is cause and effect? Shows relationship. That's a clue word. Relationship between cause or event and effect. What happened because of the event. So for example, let us look at the example of a picture. What is the cause? Okay, the cause is rain. So, kapag umulan, anong mangyayari? Ulit, cause. Ang cause, ano yung nangyari? Effect, ano nangyari? Effect, ano yung naging epekto ng nung nangyaring event? For example, in a picture, the cause is rain. What are the effects? So, rainbow, flood, and the plants get fed. So signal words, look at your module. So what should you ask yourself if the text is cause and effect? So as said here, what happened? In Tagalog, anong nangyari and bakit nangyari yon? Let's look. Effect. Bakit nagkaroon? Why did it flood? Bakit nagkabaha? Why? Because it rained. Okay, now let us look at an example of a cause and effect. Okay, yan. Okay, this is an example of a text for cause and effect. Let's all read. The COVID-19 pandemic has led to a dramatic loss of human life worldwide. The spread of the virus spreads from person to person, therefore, many countries place cities under lockdowns. As a result of this lockdown, many businesses and establishments either have to close or shut down permanently. This also consequently is the reason why unemployment skyrocketed across the world. Now, from that text, what is the text about? Ano yung pangyayari dito sa text? Okay, the cause is the COVID-19 pandemic. Ano ang ginawa ng COVID-19 pandemic? Okay, so madami. So the cause, again, what is the cause? Ano yung pangyayari? Okay, COVID-19 pandemic. Ano ang nangyari sa mundo gawa ng COVID-19 pandemic? Okay, we are placed under lockdown and madaming business ang nagsara. Again, this is an example of cause and effect. Bakit natin nasabi na, how did we say that this is a cause and effect text? It is because there is a cause. Ano yung cause? Ano yung pangyayari? COVID-19 pandemic. Ano yung epekto? What is the effect of the COVID-19 pandemic? Okay, cities placed under lockdown. Again, this is an example of cause and effect text. Cause, pangyayari. Effect, ano yung epekto ng pangyayari? And number 4 is comparison and contrast. Now, when we say comparison in Tagalog, ibig sabihin ay pinagkukumpara. For example, let's look at the picture. Lion and tiger. What can we compare lion with? Anong pinagkapareho ng lion at tiger? Yes, we can say that they are both big animals. When we say contrast, in Tagalog, ibig sabihin ay ano yung pagkakaiba nila? For example, what is the contrast between the tiger and the lion? Okay, the tiger is orange while the lion is brown, for example. So that again. So what should you ask yourself if the text is a compare and contrast? What is being compared? That's simple. Tagalog, meron bang pinagkukumpara sa text? For example, in the picture, what is being compared? The lion and the tiger. Now let us all read a text about comparison and contrast. Okay, so this is an example of comparison. So comparison, anong pinagkapareho ng Saint Bernard at Kakapu? Okay, so according to here, what they are alike is does not bark a lot, hindi masyadong tumatahol, is friendly o mabait, and is intelligent. Now, ibig sabihin, itong parehong asong to is hindi natahol, mapalakaibigan, at matalino. That is comparison. Ano yung pinagkapareho nila? Now, what is the contrast? What are they different? Anong pinagkaiba nila? So, the Saint Bernard is a large dog, while the Kakapu is a small dog. And the Saint Bernard eats a lot or kumakain ng marami, and the Kakapu is a small eater or it eats very little compared to the Saint Bernard. Now, let us look at the text. Okay, so this text, let's all read. There are two fruits that I like to eat among all fruits, and those are apples and oranges. Apples and oranges are both fruits that are eaten. Apples are used in different dishes such as fruit salad instead of mostly being used for juice like oranges. Oranges have slices and a thick skin as opposed to apples which are whole and have a thick skin. But apples, mali yan, dapat thin skin yan, and have a thin skin. But apples as well as oranges are fine being eaten alone. Now, what is the text about? What is the subject? Ano yung pinag-uusapan dito sa text? It is about what? Okay, it is about apples and oranges. The text is comparing apples and oranges. For example, the difference between apple and oranges is apples are whole while oranges have slices. Now, what is the comparison? Ano ang pinagkapareho ng apples and oranges? Yes, they are both fruits and they are eaten. Again, comparison and contrast, mayroong pinagkukumpara. There are two or more things that are being compared. In this text, what is being compared? Okay, we are comparing apples and oranges. And for our last type of informational text is the problem and solution. So what is problem and solution in Tagalog? Okay, problema at solution. Now, let's all read. Tells about a problem and then gives one or more solution. Meaning, when we say problem and solution, there is a problem, of course, and there is a two or more solution. Tagalog, may problema, nagbibigay din ng solusyon. Let's look at the picture example. What is the problem? Okay, the problem is spilled milk. Now, what should we do about spilled milk? Okay, the solution, of course, is to clean the spilled milk. So, sequence signal words, you can see that in your module. And problem and solution. So, what should you ask yourself? Anong dapat tanungin mo sa sarili mo kung ito ba ay problem and solution? Of course, what is the problem and what is the solution? Meron bang problema and meron din bang solution? Yung text. So let's read an example. Okay, problem and solution. The dilemma is a surge in teen pregnancies these days. One reason for the problem is that teens are not educated about pregnancy. Teen pregnancies make it very difficult for young mothers to pursue their dreams and meet the demands of an infant. One answer is that most teen pregnancies can be easily prevented by using birth control. However, birth control is not 100% effective. Now, this is an example of a comparison and contrast text. So some clue words is dilemma is, one reason for the problem is, and one answer is. Now, what is the text about? Okay, the text is about teen pregnancies. What is the problem? Ano yung problema dito? Teen pregnancies or Tagalog, nagbubuntis ng bata pa. So that is our problem. What is the solution? Or in other words, what is the answer in the text? Yes, the answer is using birth control. Again, what is the problem? Okay, teen pregnancies. And what is the solution? Okay, one answer is, again, so we can say that this is a problem and solution text. Why? Bakit? Because there is a problem, merong problema. What is the problem again? Okay, teen pregnancy. What is the solution? Ano yung solution? Using birth control. Now, let us look at your learning task for this week. Okay, again, to summarize, what are the 5 kinds of informational text structures? Number 1, description. What is the clue word for description? The word describe. Problem and solution. Dapat mayroong problema. There should be a problem and there should be a solution. Compare and contrast. We are comparing two or more things. O merong pinagkukumpara. Anong pinagkapareho? Anong pinagkaiba? What are their similarities? What are their differences? Cause and effect. What is the event? And what happened? What is the effect? Nga. So in Tagalog, ano yung nangyari? At ano yung epekto ng nangyari? And last, sequence. So reminder, when we say sequence, it has something to do with, time or steps. Again, time, oras, or steps. For example, step 1, step 2, step 3. Okay, so those are our 5 kind of informational text structures. What are they again? Description, problem and solution, compare and contrast, cause and effect, and sequence. Now, let us look at your learning task.